At the beginning of the story, we see that children marked with a 0 tag were considered utterly worthless by society. People treated them as if they weren't even human. In contrast, those with tags marked as 1, 2, or higher were regarded as powerful members of society. In other words, anyone above the 0 tag held more power. A person with a 1 tag was superior to 0. Someone with a 2 tag was superior to 1, and so on. This hierarchical structure determined each individual's status in society in a strict serial order. In the story, we see a mother writhing in labor pain inside a house. She desperately wished for her child to be born with a prominent tag, but fate was cruel. When she gave birth, the child came into the world with a 0 tag. The child gradually started growing up. At school, other children always called him a loser. Even the teachers would say, "No one will befriend someone with a 0. They went as far as saying, 0 people will even stay away from other zeros. One day, a boy was being mischievous in class, but when the teacher asked, "Who did it?" everyone pointed toward 0 boy. The teacher knew that 0 was innocent, but just because of the 0 tag, everyone deliberately framed him. The distorted thinking of society had put wooden glasses on the teacher's eyes too, so he started punishing the boy without any fault. 0 kept looking out of the window and kept wondering, will I ever have a normal childhood? Will I ever be able to play with other kids like everyone else? But all of this was just his imagination. In reality, the naughty boys of the class had tied him upside down to a tree. People passing by on the road didn't even like to look at 0. Even the eagle sitting on the tree branch turned its face away from him. In the same way, time gradually passed, and 0 had now grown from a child into a young man. One day, while he was walking down the street, he saw a beggar who had only 1 leg. On the beggar's tag, the word 0 was written, just like on his own. Humanity was still alive within 0, so he went to a nearby shop to buy some food to help the old man. But as soon as the shopkeeper saw 0, he pushed him out of the shop and immediately shut it down, as if 0's presence was a bad omen for him. Disheartened, 0 took a coin out of his pocket and gave it to the man. 0 sits alone, in a corner of the city drowned in darkness. Suddenly, the silence breaks and a voice is heard. "Help me! Help me!" Some street boys are harassing a girl with a 0 tag. Seeing the boys with big tags, our 0 hides out of fear, but in doing so, he makes a noise as he falls. Because of this, he gets caught. For the first time, 0 gathers his courage and resists. He shouts, "Stop! Leave the girl alone!" His protest angers the boys, and they leave the girl and pounce on 0 instead. They beat him badly, and 0 falls to the ground. His face covered in blood, his eyes blind, everything starts to blur for him. At that very moment, he sees the girl, like an angel, walking toward him. The girl too stands up against the bullies for the first time. She saves 0 from the thugs and bandages his wounds. Both of them have 0 tags. Perhaps this invisible identity forms an emotional bond between them. One day, they saw a couple with tag number 7 passing in front of them. Happy, proud, and accepted by society. But these two lovers knew that this hateful society would never accept their love. They would sit together by the lake and eat food found from the dustbin. One day, the boy proposed to the girl by giving her a small flower. That night was magical for them, but the very next morning, everything changed. The villagers found out about it. They push the girl and make her fall and send the boy to jail. Jail is a place where there is no such thing as hope. Hunger, darkness, and loneliness are its daily companions. 0 was lying by the window in despair. Suddenly, through a crack in the window, a withered flower comes inside. 0 looks outside and sees the girl. The girl says to 0, "I'm going to be the mother of your child." A smile appears on 0's face, but he knew that the villagers would never accept this, and that's exactly what happens. The villagers surround the girl. She gets so scared that she goes into labor. With the help of a doctor, she gives birth to twin babies. Then, when the villagers check the tags of both children, they see that both children have the same tag, infinity. Together, the boy and the girl had given birth to children with the infinity tag. No one in the village had ever seen such a mark before. These twin children become the ones with the highest tag among all the villagers, because infinity means endless, something that has no end. No one could compare to this tag. Everyone bows their heads in front of those children. The boy was still in jail, thinking that the girl might no longer be alive, but just then, the door opens and the girl enters, carrying the twin children in her arms. The moral of the story: the true worth of a person cannot be judged by their social identity or status. It is reflected through their humanity, courage, and compassion towards others. When someone rises above the injustices, divisions, and inequalities prevalent in society, they lay the foundation for true change and infinite possibilities.